G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. Got to make a movie for a fella called Corbin Sterno, who's left a comment on my movie about the frog views the pools, where he says, "Warbles, I wish you would give us a tour of your place and all the equipment you have." If you were to search my videos, title search it for, quote, "Lawn Locker with Attitude, ... Forever Wolf Films, ... close your inverted commas," you'll probably come up with a series of at least 5 movies which give you a guided tour of this place, because Amanda was planning on doing a sculpture of me back in the day when the antinatalists and the ethelists were kind of bemused or amused or something by the contrast between Gary Adin Mendham living in a little house in a forest in New Jersey, espousing the idea that life isn't worth living and therefore nobody should breed, and ideally, according to him, life in the universe should be discouraged if not exterminated. And me living in my lawn locker in a forest on a ridge in northern New South Wales in Australia, espousing the idea that life itself is good, but there's a lot of fuckwits on the world and they're probably going to go away as their deficit-financed, industrial, barbarianised mass production, mass consumption, mass pollution culture degrades the biosphere, and the extreme weather events take away their infrastructure. So the trick is to teach your kids to outlive the fuckwits and try and live a lifestyle that the Creator might smile on, looking over their shoulder. So they found that a pretty good contrast, and for some reason Amanda decided that she just finished sculpting Gary Adin Mendham, so she was going to sculpt me. Did I leap at the chance to assist her? Yes, I did. I made at least 5 15-minute videos because it was all I could upload. Go and have a look at them, and if they're not enough for you, then do let me know and I'll have a go at putting together a single half-hour walk around, because I can do half hours upload now. Right, back to your comment on the threads. Also, just curious, do you own any guns? Nah, mate, I used to shoot all the meat that I ate for a couple of years when I was trying to prove a Hare Krishna wrong when she had told me that eating meat was bad and you should be a vegetarian, and I'd said to her that I bought meat at the butcher's, so what was wrong with that? And she said, "That's worse, because you're spreading the bad karma and paying somebody else to do your dirty work because you think you're too good to actually do the hands-on killing and gutting and skinning and stuff." And at the time I was living on a 1,500 acre, well, it was a failed sheep farm that had been bought out by the mining company, and they dug a tin mine there. So on the map my place was the abandoned farmhouse in the middle of a quarry or a gravel pit. But I had guns, and I'd been rifle team captain when I was at boarding school, and I started shooting things when I was about 6. So I figured I'd prove her wrong by, only eating meat that I'd shot. And at the end of 2 years, I was apologising to rabbits as I was skinning them, because you either got milk all over your knife blade, and you could visualise the kittens starving to death in the burrow because you'd shot their mother. And if there wasn't milk going all over your knife blade, you knew you were going to find fetuses inside. Because when you're shooting wild rabbits, you don't ever shoot adult males because they're too tough and stringy. And to eat them, you really got to stick them in a wire cage and throw it in the dam and wait 3 days and eat the crayfish that come to eat the dead rabbit. And the last kangaroo that I shot and skinned its tail and I made kangaroo tail soup out of it, and I just couldn't eat the roux tail soup, because every time I looked in the bowl I'd get a flashback to what his face looked like across the gun sights of the SKS that I killed him with at about 120 yards. And the look on his face said, "What's your problem, dickhead? I can go 3 times as fast as you running, I can hop over the top of your head, I can grab a hold of you by the shoulder and bite your head, bite your neck and you'll bleed to death, or I can kick you in the belly so hard you'll finish up with a colostomy. Why am I not doing it to you? Because I'm a pacifist and a vegetarian, and I lie around and sleep all day, and I run around and eat and fuck all night. What is your problem, cunt?" And that's what I could see, on the face of the kangaroo that I'd shot to make the roux tail soup. And I stopped. I decided I wasn't going to kill things for the taste and the grease. So I went and, got some books on being a vegetarian and found out it's not actually that bloody difficult, then you cut your health risks by cutting meat out of your diet. A fortnight after that, I got a religion that said, you know, be a vegetarian, thou shalt not kill. So I drove over to Inverell and I sold all of my guns except one SKS and my grandfather's P rifle. And then the Premier of New South Wales made semi-automatics illegal, so I surrendered the SKS, or sold it actually, and I took the cartridge lifter out of my grandfather's Springfield Model 98 and 98A, which I'd taken to boarding school as a semi-automatic target rifle, and it had sentimental value. So for a while it masqueraded as a single shot, and then we got a different Premier who said you are allowed to have semi-automatic, so I put the cartridge lifter back in. And then I had a bit of trouble in the courts, and I gave that rifle to my mother's boyfriend to look after. And eventually Johnny Howard made semi-automatics illegal and I had to surrender the action to the police. So Springfield Model 98A serial number 168 was surrendered to the New South Wales Police and melted down, but I still have the stock. I've had no guns for 20 years, or 25 years probably by now, and I don't miss them. It's a case of things you see when you don't have a gun. You know, like none of these kangaroos and wallabies would come and talk to me if I made gunfire noises around my hut. The relationship with the wildlife would just never have happened. So no, I haven't got any guns. I've got a compound bow and some target and some hunting arrows. I use the target arrows because I haven't got a sheepdog. You walk up to a mob of trespassing sheep and they scatter. So one's going where you want them all to go and one's going where you don't want none of them to go. You put a target arrow into the wrong going sheep and it yells, "Oh fuck, I'm hit, I'm hit," and it bleats and it runs following the herd, and the herd bunches and runs away from it, and then they're all going in the direction you want them to go. Then you just have to run around in front of them and open the power line easement access gate and let them back onto their neighbour's place in the drought. They generally come through that gate at about midnight and nobody knows who lets them in. But yeah, target arrows are much cheaper than sheepdogs, and I'm not going to feed a sheepdog for 2 or 3 years just for that 1 or 2 days that I might need him to get rid of the trespassing ferals. And well, if I had a dog, there'd be carnivore shit and carnivore piss all the way around my camp. It'd be barking, it'd have to live most of its life chained up so that it doesn't go and eat the neighbour's sheep and harass them when they're on the neighbour's side of the fence, because you can't teach a dog not to cross the fence and hunt sheep. So it wouldn't be a life fit for a dog. So yeah, I have target arrows and a bow, and I have hunting arrows, and occasionally when I have just one feral sheep on my place, I just go and use it for archery practice with a hunting arrow, and it stops, and that feeds the local predators a feed of sheep, you know, and once again it works on reducing the scale of the problem. Then we have IDK, or I don't know. You can send PMs, can't you? If so, reply to me like that if you want. Well mate, you've almost got it right. If you read what I say in the clip descriptions, it says I can reply to PMs that are addressed to my channel. I can't initiate a new PM. I don't know if you've ever sent me a PM that I've replied to in the past, but you know, I could go searching back through sent items to find the outbox window that runs from me to you, because they stay there for, you know, bloody long time. But I can't initiate a new personal message to you. If you want me to send a PM to you, you've got to send one to me, and then I can reply to it. I think it was a protocol they adopted years and years ago to try and stop kiddies from trolling on YouTube with their mobile phone. Yeah? For a while, maybe for 6 months, 3 years ago, I was able to take a PM that somebody else had sent to me, strip their channel name out of it, put anybody else's channel name in there, and that way I could generate a new PM. But it hasn't been like that for a long time. If you can't do that, I guess just answer me in the description of your next video. Actually, I prefer not to do that. I don't really want to clutter up the next video's clip description with answers to comments in the thread of the previous video, because it'll be fairly bloody confusing for anybody who comes new to the channel or finds that video by using the search engine some other way. I did have a go at it off my own bat a couple of times. There were people who'd left questions in one video and I had a go at answering them in the next video, and I never got any acknowledgement that they'd seen it. And it's a really clumsy, complicated workaround. It's easier if, you know, when somebody's really got an issue that's annoying them and, you know, they keep on and on about it, well, I just make a video, you know, on the topic like I'm doing at the moment. I used to enjoy making eccentric comments on other people's videos in the hope of generating views on my own channel. I admit that, because I was pushing sunfoils and I thought I could actually materially improve the state of the world by convincing other people to do it, so there was a bit of a crusade going on. And I take the attitude that if anybody comments on my video and I've got the ability to answer them, I should have a go at it. So even though I never ever had a reply button, I would just post a comment at, you know, on the thread of anybody who'd commented to me or replied to me, and I would use the old format of @ and their channel name, in the hope that if they ever went back to that thread, seeing their own channel name would sort of grab their attention and they would get to read the reply that I'd done my best to send them. Now they've taken away my post comment button. Okay, I don't spend all bloody day and finally at 3 o'clock in the afternoon say, oh, finally got to the end of the inbox, I can have a look at what the subscribers have been doing and watch a few movies and then find there's more inboxes. Now, YouTube really was taken up all of my time. I didn't get anything done for a couple of years. Now I'm getting a few things done around my life. It's kind of good, actually. But yeah, fucking up next movie with answers to the comments in the previous one? No. When I found your comment, I was actually just clearing the decks to shoot episode 11 of Australia's Day of National Shame. And there's no way I'm interested in stuffing up the clip description in the middle of a series to answer somebody who's asking comments to questions they could find if they actually backscrolled my videos. I'd rather make a dedicated video just to that person and, you know, tell them how things are. Yeah? If none of that stuff happens, sound of violins here, da, 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 I'll just assume you don't care for any of my suggestions. Laugh out loud. No, it's not a case of I don't care for your suggestions, it's just that I figured you'd pick up on what was going on without needing detailed instructions, and not a big problem, you know. I try to be polite and friendly, but I am a friggin' hermit for a reason, and that is that I've got shithouse communication and interpersonal skills, and I don't, you know, communicate well. Matter of fact, that's why I get accused of using such big words all the time. It's because I'm trying to nail down the exact precise meaning of what I'm attempting to say, and the more I try to do that, the less people understand what I'm on about. Really, it's just part of being me. P.S. Couldn't you just create another account to comment on your videos with, like upload videos from this account, then log, and then it goes to the ... because the anti-troll software program has decided that his comment was too long to display on a mobile phone. I've got one YouTube account. I've never understood people having multiple YouTube accounts. I mean, I know that they do it, I just don't understand how they keep the separate schismatic parts of their personality straight in their own head. I'm not going to have one channel from the wildlife and one channel from the sunfoils and one channel from the this and one channel from the... I have a hard enough time understanding how to work the YouTube mobile phone system with just one channel. The reason that I've lost my ability to comment is because I refuse to try and learn how to receive emails at Hotmail and then go and have a look at the YouTube threads to see what somebody else has said there, and then open up some other fucking website to go and have a look at Google+ to try and comment on my YouTube. Once upon a time, YouTube was clever enough to be able to tell me on my YouTube account that somebody had commented on my movie. Well, sometimes they still do that. It's not unusual for me to find new comments on movies that are more than 1 week old that I haven't seen pinging my inbox. At least as a notification that there's now 2 comments instead of no comments. But then when I opened the relevant inbox, I would get taken to the thread under the movie where the comment was, and I would get a post comment button. It was a simple system, and it allowed somebody to operate a YouTube account pretty well, you know. I mean, I didn't get all the bells and whistles, and the thing that probably gets up Google's nose is the mobile phone is too small a format for me to ever see any of their ads. I've never seen an ad on a YouTube movie. I've never seen an ad anywhere on YouTube. So they can't count me as a view and charge their advertisers. So they're trying to discourage people from doing what I've done and what I am doing. They want me to use a more powerful conduit or pipe, you know. They want to stick ads around the movies that I see, and I don't want to play that whole game. You know, I've avoided learning how to use a computer for 35 bloody years. I've saved a lot of time and money and effort and aggravation and frustration and strife, and I think I have a fairly addictive personality where computers come, you know, to be looked at, and I'm just not interested. You know, I don't want to become a computer head. I never got on YouTube so that Google could manipulate me into acquiring and learning to use and powering a computer so that I could pretend to be 3 different movements across their 3 different channels. That's what they want me to do. They want to count me 3 times. They don't want to count me only on YouTube. They want to count me on Google+ and Hotmail as well. It's a bullshit idea for a bullshit reason. It slows everything down. And no, I am who I am. I'm not who they fucking want me to be, and I'm not interested in changing. I don't want to buy the shit they're trying to advertise to me anyway. So just get used to the idea that I post movies and I put clip descriptions on them, and if somebody asks a question that I really can't go without answering, they'll get a movie. Right? But there's no way I'm going to fuck up following movies' clip descriptions by trying to answer comments. I'm a hermit. A cranky old bastard, you know? That's life. If you don't like it, well, I guess you'll just have to bloody unsub and go and talk to somebody else who is prepared to be pushed around by Google into being somebody that they didn't want to be. I'm not that person. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao. Now I'll get back to making the movie I wanted to make.